Here's some of the stories trending this week at NASA. The SpaceX Dragon U.S. commercial cargo spacecraft arrived at the International Space Station April 10th, 2 days after being launched from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. Dragon was captured with the space station's robotic Canadarm2 by Tim Peake of ESA, with assistance from NASA's Jeff Williams, as the two spacecraft were traveling over the Pacific Ocean west of Hawaii. The cargo craft was loaded with about 7,000 pounds of science and research investigations, including the Bigelow Expandable Activity Module. Beam will be attached to the station's Harmony module for a 2-year testing period. Dragon's arrival is the first time 2 U.S. commercial cargo craft have been docked to the space station at the same time. Orbital ATK's Cygnus spacecraft arrived to the station on March 26th. Administrator Charlie Bolden was one of several NASA officials attending the 32nd Space Symposium held April 11th through 14th in Colorado Springs, Colorado. During remarks, the administrator reflected on the progress made by NASA and its partners in the 6 years since President Obama challenged NASA to send American astronauts to Mars in the 2030s. Bolden also accepted this year's John L. Jack Swigert Jr. Award for Space Exploration, presented to NASA and members of the New Horizons mission in recognition of the first-ever flyby of dwarf planet Pluto last July. The annual event has brought together space leaders from around the world to discuss, address, and plan for the future of space since the inaugural symposium in 1984. NASA Chief Scientist Ellen Stofan attended the April 13th White House Science Fair, celebrating student winners of science, technology, engineering, and math competitions from across the country. At the event, President Obama announced new commitments in support of the administration's Computer Science for All initiative announced earlier this year, as well as the Educate to Innovate campaign, designed to inspire more students to excel in STEM subjects. The president hosted the first-ever White House Science Fair in 2010. The USA Science and Engineering Festival kicked off on April 15th at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center in Washington. Interactive NASA exhibits at the 3-day event provides opportunities for the more than 350,000 expected visitors to take virtual reality walks on other planets, be photographed in a spacesuit, and talk to experts about a variety of NASA topics, including rockets, robots, X-planes, and deep space exploration, including the journey to Mars. The Mars Ascent Vehicle Challenge on April 13th at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama, was one of several activities conducted as part of this year's Student Launch Week at and near NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. During the event, students showed designs for autonomous robotic systems capable of performing space exploration tasks, such as retrieving and storing samples. The next day at Marshall, NASA astronaut Kjell Lindgren talked with students about his time aboard the International Space Station as a crew member of Expedition 44 and 45. Rounding out the week is the annual Student Launch Competition, which is scheduled for April 16th. Student Launch is a partnership with the Mars Ascent Vehicle Challenge designed to engage students across the country in NASA's journey to Mars through hands-on activities in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math. Almost 570 new meteorite samples recovered by the Antarctic Search for Meteorites team arrived at Johnson Space Center in Houston on April 14th. The collection, which includes rare and scientifically valuable pieces of Mars and our Moon, as well as rocks from very early in the formation and evolution of the solar system, were recovered from the Miller Range of the Transantarctic Mountains during a 35-day excursion this past November to January. They will become part of the U.S. Antarctic Meteorite Collection housed at Johnson and the Smithsonian Institution in Washington. And that's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on social media and visit www.nasa.gov/twan.